Hello everybody, welcome to Civil Step. So in our initiative of Sthapna, we have started a lecture series of previous year questions in which we will discuss the questions starting from 1995 to 2018. तो हम last 23 years के questions discuss करेंगे आपके साथ and today we are going to start with the subject of modern Indian history. And as we all know that the syllabus of UPSC is very vast and we cannot put emphasis on every topic equally. That's why we need to prepare for the exam in a strategic way and put emphasis on those topics more which comes more often in the exam. That's why it becomes very important to understand the trend that how many questions come every year from modern India and which topics are more important from the point of view of your exam. Alright, so let's start. Here we have the analysis of last 23 years papers and the questions that came from modern history in UPSC prelims examination. So from 1996 to 2000 a very significant amount of questions came from this subject, that was around 1/5 of the paper, but then gradually it reduced with the exception of the year 2005 in which 18 questions came. And in recent prelims of 2018, this number of questions spiked up again and this year 12 questions came from this subject. So there is no pattern here. We can't exactly predict that how many questions will be there in upcoming examinations, but we can surely say that we can't underestimate the modern history because on average around 10 to 12 questions तो आपके हर year ही आते हैं subject से, and that's why this subject become very important for your preparation of the exam. Now we will see the topic wise analysis of last 23 years papers. Here I have divided modern history into 11 topics and the questions that came from each of those topics in the last 23 years. So for example, from Revolt of 1857, 8 questions came, from Charters and Acts 20 questions came, and so on. And we all know that the freedom of struggle is a very important part of modern history and it's also a very vast topic. So I've divided that into 3 parts: the nationalist movement, the struggle for Swaraj, and freedom and partition. And we can also see that around 140 questions came from this topic. So this topic becomes very important from the point of view of your exam, and in the same way you can see for yourself that what topics are important for you and what are not, so you can strategize your preparation according to that. So now let's start with the first topic of modern history, that is the revolt of 1857 and all the events which led to this revolt. तो उससे रिलेटेड जितने भी क्वेश्चंस आए हैं हमारे पास पेपर्स में वो हम सारे डिस्कस करेंगे आज. एंड फर्स्ट आई विल डिस्कस द question that came in the exam and then I will explain the key terms associated with that question so that you can understand well, and also you will learn about what type of question come from a particular topic in the exam. So next time when you will read or revise the topic, you will have in mind ki okay, this type of question UPSC ask. You can also attempt these questions in a quiz format, and in order to do so go to www.civilsteps.com. So now let's start with the first question. This question came in the prelims of 2007 and the question is, the ruler of which one of the following states was removed from power by the British on the pretext of misgovernance. तो हमारे पास ये कीवर्ड है pretext of misgovernance. Pretext means real reason कुछ और था, but Britishers said that we are removing you on the basis of misgovernance. तो इनमें से कौन से स्टेट का रूलर था वो? अवध, झांसी, नागपुर और सतारा. So when we first look at the question in exam, we should strive for eliminating the wrong options as much as we can. तो इस question में हम झांसी को eliminate कर सकते हैं because Britishers did not recognize or acknowledge the adopted son of Rani Lakshmi Bai. We already know that, हमने movies में देखा है, TV series में देखा है. So Britishers did not acknowledge the adopted son of Rani Lakshmi Bai and said that we are annexing you under the doctrine of lapse policy. और इसी के against Rani Lakshmi Bai fought in the revolt of 1857. तो उन्हें pretext नहीं दिया गया था, उनसे direct बोला गया था कि we are annexing you on the basis of doctrine of lapse. That's why Jhansi cannot be the answer. So Jhansi is eliminated here. Now we are remained with 3 options: Awadh, Nagpur and Satara. तो इस तरीके से हम एग्जाम में भी ऑप्शंस को एलिमिनेट कर सकते हैं. एंड इफ़ यू हैव रेड द एनसीईआरटी तो ये क्वेश्चन बहुत ही ईजी हो जाता है बिकॉज इट हैज़ बीन डायरेक्टली पिक फ्रॉम द चैप्टर ऑफ रिवोल्ट ऑफ 1857 फ्रॉम ऑफ क्लास 12th एनसीईआरटी. बट इफ़ यू हैवेंट देन लेट्स सी व्हाट इज़ द आंसर. Answer is option A, that is Awadh was annexed on the pretext of misgovernance. So Lord Dalhousie was the Governor General who annexed Awadh on the pretext of misgovernance. But real reason क्या था? Real reason was doctrine of lapse policy. So this doctrine of lapse policy was an annexation policy जो कि Lord Dalhousie ने introduce की थी, and this policy East India Company followed in India until 1858. तो इस पॉलिसी के अंडर अगर कोई भी इंडियन प्रिंसली स्टेट जो कि ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी के स्यूजरानिटी के अंडर था, उसको अपना प्रिंसली स्टेटस गिव अप करना होता था, एबॉलिश कर दिया जाता था उसका, व्हेन देयर वर टू सिचुएशंस, इफ द रूलर वाज ईदर मैनिफेस्टली इनकॉम्पिटेंट और रूलर डाइड विदाउट अ मेल आयर. तो इन दो सिचुएशंस में उसका प्रिंसली स्टेटस अबॉलिश कर दिया जाता था. सो दिस पॉलिसी वाज वाइडली रिसेंटेड इन इंडिया. और अवध को एनेक्स करने का एक्सक्यूज क्या दिया लॉर्ड डलहौजी ने कि वी आर रेस्क्यूइंग पीपल फ्रॉम नवाब्स मिसमैनेजमेंट एंड तालुकदार्स ऑपरेशन. बट दैट वाज नॉट द रियलिटी बिकॉज पीपल गॉट नो रिलीफ व्हेन अवध वाज एनेक्स्ड. सो दिस पॉलिसी वाज वाइडली मिसयूज्ड by the Britishers in India. Now let's move to our next question. This question came in the prelims of 2006 and the question is, who was the Governor General of India during the Sepoy Mutiny? So Sepoy Mutiny is another name for the revolt of 1857 and this is pretty much a very direct question. इसमें direct पूछा है कि Indian Revolt of 1857 में Governor General कौन था. सो दिस इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द एग्जाम कि गवर्नर जनरल के टाइम पर क्या क्या इंपॉर्टेंट हैपनिंग्स हुई थी, ये आपको ध्यान में रखनी है. एंड इफ़ यू वांट टू रीड अबाउट दैट देन जो स्पेक्ट्रम की बुक है, बहुत टाइनी सी बुक जो है, उसमें लास्ट के कुछ पेजेस पर पॉइंटर्स गिवन है, इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंटर्स. तो वहीं पर गिवन है कि गवर्नर जनरल के टाइम पे क्या क्या इंपॉर्टेंट हैपनिंग्स हुई थी, आप उसको वहाँ से कवर कर सकते हैं. नाउ कमिंग बैक टू द ऑप्शंस, आवर ऑप्शंस आर लॉर्ड कैनिंग, Lord Dalhousie, Lord Harding and Lord Lytton. Now let's see what is the answer. Answer is option A, that is Lord Canning was the Governor General of India during the Sepoy Mutiny. So Sepoy Mutiny was a major uprising in India during 1857 to 58 against the rule of British East India Company. तो East India Company के against uprising थी ये, and this is known by many names. Sepoy Mutiny जो हमसे question में ही पूछा गया है, the Indian Mutiny, the Great Rebellion, the Revolt of 1857, the Indian Insurrection and India's First War of Independence. ये वाला फ्रेज हमारे लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि ये यूपीएससी बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस में पूछती है. इंडियाज फर्स्ट वॉर ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस वाज रिवोल्ट ऑफ 1857. So this rebellion began on 10th May 1857 in the town of Meerut. And फिर धीरे धीरे it spread into other parts in the upper Gangetic Plain and Central India. ये हमें ध्यान देना है कि revolt of 1857 spread in upper Gangetic Plain and Central India. तो ये South India में और West India में इन सब में नहीं spread हुई थी. It just spread in these areas. So Lord Canning was the Governor General from 1856 to 1862 and during his tenure the Government of India Act 1858 was passed. So this was very important act because this was introduced after the revolt of 1857 and this act created the office of Viceroy. तो जो पर्सन पहले गवर्नर जनरल ऑफ इंडिया के नाम से जाना जाता था उसका डेजिग्नेशन चेंज करके उसको वाइस रॉय बना दिया गया और लॉर्ड कैनिंग ऐसे पहले वाइस रॉय बने इंडिया के. अदर इम्पॉर्टेंट इवेंट्स ड्यूरिंग लॉर्ड कैनिंग टेन्योर वाज पासिंग ऑफ इंडियन काउंसिल्स एक्ट 1861 जिसके अंडर इंडिया में पोर्टफोलियो सिस्टम इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया. डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ फ्लैप्स की जो पॉलिसी थी जो लॉर्ड डलहौजी ने इंट्रोड्यूस की थी उसको विड्रॉ कर लिया गया बिकॉज दिस पॉलिसी वॉज द मेन रीजन ऑफ म्यूटिनी ऑफ 1857. कोड ऑफ क्रिमिनल प्रोसीजर को इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया. इंडियन हाई कोर्ट एक्ट को इनेक्ट किया गया. इंडियन पीनल कोड को लाया गया. बंगाल रेंट एक्ट को लाया गया. तो ऐसे करके बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट इवेंट्स हुए थे लॉर्ड कैनिंग के टाइम पे. तो आपको ये तो ध्यान में रखने ही है, साथ में और भी गवर्नर जनरल्स के टाइम पे क्या इंपॉर्टेंट इवेंट्स हुए थे वो भी आपको ध्यान में रखने हैं. नाउ लेट्स मूव टू आवर नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. This question came in the prelims of 2005 and the question is, which one of the following places did Kunwar Singh, a prominent leader of the revolt of 1857 belonged to? Our options are Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. तो जैसा मैंने आपसे पहले भी बोला कि फर्स्ट वी शुड स्ट्राइव फॉर एलिमिनेटिंग द रॉन्ग ऑप्शंस. तो जैसा हमें पता है कि 1857 जो है वो अपर गैंगेटिक प्लेन और सेंट्रल इंडिया में स्प्रेड हुई थी, बट राजस्थान इज नॉट पार्ट ऑफ ईदर ऑफ देम. तो राजस्थान को तो हम एलिमिनेट कर सकते हैं बिकॉज कुंवर सिंह फॉट इन द रिवोल्ट ऑफ 1857. सो राजस्थान कैन नॉट बी द आंसर. नाउ वी आर रिमेन विद बिहार, मध्य प्रदेश एंड उत्तर प्रदेश. नाउ वी विल सी व्हाट इज द आंसर. लेकिन अगर आप लोगों ने एनसीईआरटी ढंग से पढ़ी है तो ये क्वेश्चन डायरेक्टली एनसीईआरटी से पिक किया गया है चैप्टर रिवोल्ट ऑफ 1857 से. नाउ लेट्स सी व्हाट इज द आंसर. आंसर इज ऑप्शन ए, दैट इज बिहार. कुंवर सिंह belonged from Bihar. So Kunwar Singh, also known as Babu Veer Kunwar Singh, was a notable leader during the Indian Rebellion of 1857 and he belonged to a zamindar family of Jagdishpur, Bihar. और इम्पॉर्टेंट लीडर्स कौन थे जो रिवोल्ट ऑफ 1857 में जिन्होंने पार्टिसिपेट किया था? दोज वर रानी लक्ष्मीबाई, शी वॉज फ्रॉम झांसी. मंगल पांडे, ही वॉज फ्रॉम बैरकपुर. जनरल बख्त खान, ही वॉज फ्रॉम दिल्ली. बेगम हजरत महल, she was from Lucknow. Nana Sahib Tatia Tope, he was from Kanpur. Maulvi Liaquat Ali, he was from Allahabad. See, this table is very important because it can help us in eliminating options in other questions as well. और ये आपको पर्सपेक्टिव भी देती है. It gives you a picture in mind that who was leader at what region. So that helps in answer writing for mains as well. Alright. So this table is very important. Remember this. Now let's move to our next question. This question came in the prelims of 2006 and the question is, with reference to the revolt of the year 1857, who of the following was betrayed by friend and then captured and put to death by the British? तो इनमें से कौन से लीडर को उनके फ्रेंड ने बिट्रे किया था? Our options are नाना साहिब, कुंवर सिंह, खान बहादुर खान एंड तात्या टोपे. तो ये वाला क्वेश्चन डायरेक्टली एनसीईआरटी से पिक किया गया है. इट इज गिवन ऑन द लास्ट पेज ऑफ द चैप्टर रिवोल्ट ऑफ 1857. सो नाउ लेट्स सी व्हाट इज द आंसर. आंसर इज ऑप्शन डी, दैट इज तात्या टोपे was betrayed by his friend and the name of his friend was मान सिंह and then he was captured and put to death by the British. So Tatya Tope was one of the most notable Indian freedom fighters, and though he had no formal military training, still he was probably the best and most effective of all the Indian generals during the revolt. And he used to serve the former Peshwa of the Maratha Confederacy, that is Baji Rao. So Baji Rao was the Peshwa in the Maratha Confederacy. And now we have the keyword here, that is Peshwa. So Peshwas was equivalent to Pradhan of Chhatrapati, that is King of Maratha Empire. तो जो मराठा एम्पायर का किंग था उसको छत्रपति के नाम से जाना जाता था और उसके प्रधान को पेशवा के नाम से जाना जाता था. So originally these Peshwas were subordinates to the Chhatrapati, but later they became so effective that Chhatrapati was reduced to just a nominal ruler and these Peshwas became the real leader of the Maratha Empire. Now let's move to our next question. This question came in the prelims of 1998 and the question is, the educated middle class in India opposed the revolt of 1857, supported the revolt of 1857, remained neutral to the revolt or fought against native rulers. So if we want to eliminate the options first, then we can eliminate option A and option D, because in any case it cannot be said that the educated Indians were anti-national or loyal to foreign regime. So A and D can be eliminated. Now we are remained with two options, that is option B, either they supported or either they remained neutral to the revolt. This question has also been directly picked from the NCERT. From page number 117 of the chapter Revolt of 1857. Now let's see what is the answer. Answer is option C, that is educated middle class in India remained neutral to the revolt of 1857. So most of the princely rulers and big zamindars did not supported the 1857 revolt. Why? because these moneylenders and zamindars were the chief target of rebellion attacks. That's why they sided with the British. The educated middle and upper classes were critical of the rebels because rebels used to believe in superstitions and they were also opposed to the progressive social measures. So these educated classes thought that the Britishers would help them in modernizing the India, but later they realized from their experience that Britishers would want to keep India backward, and that's why they organized various political institutions to fight against Britishers. Now let's move to our next question. This question came in the prelims of 2005 and the question is, which one of the following territories was not affected by the revolt of 1857? We have to focus on the word not affected. Our options are Jhansi, Chittor, Jagdishpur and Lucknow. Now first let's eliminate the options. So we know that Rani Lakshmi Bai fought from Jhansi in the revolt of 1857. And Kunwar Singh fought from Jagdishpur and Begum Hazrat Mahal fought from Lucknow. So rulers of these territories participated in the revolt of 1857 and these areas were affected by the revolt of 1857. That's why these three options can be eliminated and now we have deduced our answer, that is option B. Chittor was not affected by the revolt of 1857. And yes, that's the answer. So Indian Rebellion of 1857, we already know that it started on 10th May in the town of Meerut and then it erupted into other areas. But the major hostilities were confined to these regions: Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Northern Madhya Pradesh, Delhi and Gurgaon. तो ये हमें ध्यान में रखनी है क्योंकि these can help in eliminating options in other questions as well. So these were the areas which were most affected by the revolt of 1857. Now let's move to our next question. This question came in the prelims of 2014 and the question is, what was or were the objectives of Queen Victoria's Proclamation 1858? तो हमारे पास यहाँ पर 3 statements given है और हमें बताना है कि which of these were the objectives of this proclamation. So our first statement is to disclaim any intention to annex Indian states. Second, to place the Indian administration under the British Crown. And third, to regulate East India Company's trade with India. तो अभी हमने जब फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन में लॉर्ड कैनिंग के बारे में पढ़ा था तब वी रेड दैट आफ्टर द रिवोल्ट ऑफ 1857 ब्रिटिशर्स स्टॉप्ड द एनेक्सेशन पॉलिसी ऑफ डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ लैप्स. That's why first statement is correct. This statement was part of this proclamation. And we don't know about these two statements. But when we know that the first statement is correct, then we can eliminate option B, that is 2 only. Now we are remained with 3 options, 1 and 2 only, 1 and 3 only, and 1, 2 and 3. Now let's see what is the answer. Answer is option A, that is 1 and 2 only, that is these two statements are correct. This act laid down that India shall be governed by in the name of Queen. तो पहले इंडिया को ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी गवर्न करती थी लेकिन इस एक्ट के बाद उसको क्वीन के नेम के अंडर गवर्न किया जाएगा. बोर्ड ऑफ कंट्रोल और कोर्ट ऑफ डायरेक्टर के इंस्टीट्यूशंस को अबॉलिश कर दिया गया जो कि पिट्स इंडिया एक्ट और रेगुलेटिंग एक्ट के अंडर इस्टेब्लिश हुए थे और एक न्यू पोस्ट बनाई गई विच वॉज नोन एज सेक्रेटरी ऑफ स्टेट और इस पर्सन को असिस्ट करने के लिए एक काउंसिल बनाई गई 15 मेंबर्स की विच वॉज नोन एज काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया. डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ लैप्स की पॉलिसी को कैंसिल कर दिया गया जो लॉर्ड डलहौजी ने इंट्रोड्यूस की थी और ब्रिटिशर्स ने एनेक्सेशन की पॉलिसी को टोटली स्टॉप कर दिया. गवर्नर जनरल का डेजिग्नेशन चेंज करके उसको वाइस रॉय ऑफ इंडिया बना दिया गया और लॉर्ड कैनिंग ऐसे पहले वाइस रॉय बने इंडिया के. लेट्स मूव टू आवर नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. This question came in the recent prelims of 2018 and the question is, which one of the following statements does not apply to the system of subsidiary alliance introduced by Lord Wellesley? So Lord Wellesley was the Viceroy of India and he introduced a system called subsidiary alliance. तो इनमें से कौन सा statement उस system पर apply नहीं करता है? Our statement first is to maintain a large standing army at others' expense. Second, to keep India safe from Napoleonic danger. Third, to secure a fixed income for the company. And the fourth, to establish British paramountcy over the Indian states. Now let's see what is the answer. Answer is option C, that is to secure a fixed income for the company. This statement does not apply to the system of subsidiary alliance, and these three statements does apply to this system. So subsidiary alliance was a treaty between the East India Company and the Indian native rulers, and this was introduced by Lord Wellesley. तो इसमें ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी यूज टू प्लेस ट्रूप्स इन द रूलर्स टेरिटरी सो दैट इंडियन नेटिव रूलर्स कैन फाइट अगेंस्ट देयर राइवल्स. सो जो भी रूलर इंडिया सब्सिडरी अलायंस में एंटर करता था, दे हैड टू एक्सेप्ट ब्रिटिश फोर्सेज विद इन देयर टेरिटरी एंड दे ऑल्सो हैड टू पे फॉर द मेंटेनेंस ऑफ द आर्मी. सो दिस पॉलिसी वॉज ओनली एडवांटेजेस फॉर द ब्रिटिशर्स, बिकॉज एक तो इंडियन नेटिव रूलर्स की सोवरेनिटी कॉम्प्रोमाइज हो रही थी, बिकॉज दीज ब्रिटिश फोर्सेज यूज टू leak information to the Britishers, and second, Indian native rulers had to pay for the maintenance of the army. And this policy was also introduced to counter the attacks of Napoleon and अदर फ्रेंच डेवलपमेंट्स इन इंडिया. तो जो जितनी भी फ्रेंच पावर डेवलप हो रही थी इंडिया में, उनको काउंटर करने के लिए भी इस पॉलिसी को इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया. सो गाइज, दैट वाज इट फॉर टुडे. And as we have seen that majority of the questions were from class 12th NCERT, so I suggest you guys to cover that book really well. So next time we will discuss the charters and acts. Till then, good luck for your studies. Bye bye.